is just like destiny is created. So nothing happens in this world by chance. And everything eventually depends on the state of mind that I hold on to. And so if in my state of mind, if internally I feel I'm a master. So master is like a parent. A master is someone who is loved by everyone. Uh, so if I hold on to that awareness of being a master, then it's like my destiny is of being a master. On the other hand, if I feel being enslaved, or if I feel being a slave, enslaved to my maybe desires that are not so conducive, for example, or some impressions or sanskars which are not very healthy for the soul, then the destiny revolves around that. So today, the thought was to kind of explore what it really means to be a master, and how do we actually hold the right intention so that we create the right destiny, the right fortune for ourselves. And what's this process all about? How does it happen? What is the reality, and how does destiny relate to the reality that I hold on to in my mind? Now, recently, there have been many scientific studies, and one such study is where the researchers say that brain is more like a prediction engine. So the way I perceive reality, the way I see things, depends on the way the brain has been programmed. And that's why people talk about optical illusion and other things, and same thing, two people will perceive it differently. And so this inner programming has to do with this consciousness that I have to hold on to. And then it kind of is reflected in the world outside. So many times we use words such as living inside out. So I live inside. I hold on to that pure consciousness inside. And then I see outside. How does it impact outside? Many times I've seen that the more I just focus on holding that intention, then everything works around in a very smooth and peaceful way. Whereas if I try and fix things outside, what a lot of times happens is I end up becoming a slave inside. And so this consciousness where I, the spiritual being, the soul, I am a master. And that's what our original nature is. All of us, as guests in this body, as spiritual beings, we're all masters. Because this world, this is the physical reality. But the spiritual reality, we are the masters of this physical world. And so in this consciousness, then we create like a friendship with life. So it's like life revolves, or life, so we become friends. So I talk to life, life talks to me, and then we have this mutual feeling of trust and respect. And so like Sister Louise was sharing, what happens in next 2 minutes or a few days or years, then I have trust. I trust life because I know we are friends. And so whatever my state of mind is, that is what ultimately creates my reality. So we have a few slides to share. Let me just project a few slides. be the master of your destiny. It's like sitting comfortably in my own skin, in my own chair. It's like I have the bigger picture in my mind. I'm in charge. And again, in charge of my mind, my thoughts, my feelings. That's what we used to have a lot of beautiful pre-COVID times. We had retreats at Peace Village, and one such retreat was, we call it inner mastery for outer impact. Inner mastery for outer impact. We did it for young professionals, and there we really looked into how many of successful leaders and people in the world actually have worked on inner mastery. So they don't much think about outer impact. Like many players and sports people who have excelled in their field, what they do is their whole attention is on the self. It's on, like I was watching an interview once and about a very famous cricket player from India, and someone asked him, how do you always score so many runs, and how do you excel so much? And he said, the moment I go out to bat, all I think about is just to be myself. I don't think about scoring a boundary or scoring some runs. I don't think about. My whole attention is to just be myself. That's it. And I then just naturally react to whatever the bowler is bowling, and I just react to it. So in the same way, when I'm just focused on being myself, then I am actually working in sync, in tune, in alignment with the life. Sometimes we use words such as drama. It's the drama, it's symbolic of this beautiful play that is going on. And we souls then create friendship with it. I'm remembering just a few days back, we had a beautiful, big program here at Peace Village. We were celebrating something, picnic, and my duty was to, kind of set up the chairs, but the chairs weren't set up for a long time, so they were all very dusted. And they were like 70 or 80 chairs, and the program was about to start. We were running late, and someone said, Saurabh, now go and clean the chairs. So find someone to help you, to work with you. And I knew everyone had their own duties, so I didn't want to. So I was internally just checking myself and talking to myself. Should I really go out and request for help? Or so then the thought that came was, let me just go out and start doing it. And then if someone comes, then comes. Otherwise, something, good will happen out of it. I will learn something. And I remember the second chair I was wiping, and then this one young brother comes and he said, I'm inspired to help. Please tell me what can I help with? And 2-3 other brothers came, and we all finished it in half an hour. So I was just thinking this sense of friendship, trust, not to feel kind of overwhelmed or burdened by things, but just to have this sense of trust that everything is for my benefit. Everything is perfect. We have a very senior brother in India. His name is Brother Brij Mohan. And he says that in this drama, that is in this play of life, everything right is right, and everything wrong is also right. And then I was really thinking about it, because if I see something as wrong, it is basically that wrong is also fixed in this play. It's also meant to be in this way. There is a ultimate benefit involved in everything. So it's like the reality you see right now is the reality you hold in your mind. That's why, the prediction, this prediction engine or this inner programming, what they say, psychologists especially say, like, especially dealing with children, it is so important for us to, even if we are giving them directions, to give them directions in a very loving, polite, gentle, caring way, nurturing way. Because if I'm raising my voice or if I'm getting angry on them, what is getting recorded in their subconscious is that anger. Uh, and that is how then their minds are getting programmed. And that's what, will dictate their life, their future life. Right? And so it's so important to be very true, clear, honest in maintaining my very clean and clear and pure state of mind. That's what we call in our spiritual terminology as purity. It's a very pure and clean state of mind where I'm just focusing on the perfection of this moment. So I just choose to live this moment perfectly. When I see perfection in everything, like even this day, if you just recapitulate whatever happened today, if I'm just able to see every scene in perfection, without judging, without comparing with anybody else, or even my past, I'm just looking at the perfection in this moment. So with that state of mind, I'm creating this beautiful friendship with the drama, with the life. And all I need to do is to keep on holding to that pure thought. Many times, we all know Sister Mohini, and many times we have heard that from her experiences as well. Like if we go to her with a question or something, she won't give an immediate answer. Do this, don't do this. But she'll say, okay, just hold on to it. Hold it in your mind. Just hold it. Give it some thought, give it love, give it care, give it attention. And let's see what emerges in the drama. So destiny emerges based on my state of mind. And many times we have seen, and a lot of things get done with that power of pure intention. And when we do a lot of these times, when we say we have to serve the world, a lot of souls are looking and crying out. How do we do that? It's just holding that pure intention. Just holding that pure intention, because it creates wonders. It really changes the reality, because it is changing my reality that I'm holding on to my mind. And we are all connected. And so when I have changed, it's like others are also getting that vibration. So it can be changed at any time. And so what we say is then is like this invisible energy of intention, this invisible energy of this sacred and pure vibration is very, very powerful. And if we look at most of the things in the universe that are very powerful are all invisible. Like we're all connected right now. I'm sitting somewhere, you're sitting somewhere. We're all somehow magically connected, right? It's all invisible energy of electromagnetic radiation, electromagnetic waves, internet through which we're all connected. Yeah, waves are traveling all the way to the outer space, to the satellites, and then, and also underneath the ocean, it's like all the cables, everything happening in the split of a second. So powerful because it is invisible. Like electricity that empowers, right? Our laptop or our phone through which we are connected, it's also invisible. Invisible is powerful. We say God, the supreme being, the divine, whatever we call it, but we can't see with these physical eyes. Invisible. The seed from which the entire tree grows. I can see the tree, I can see the branches, the stem, the leaves, the twigs, the flowers or fruit, but I cannot see the seed. But it all emerged from the seed. The seed is very, very powerful because it is invisible. Atomic energy. It's atomic energy. The energy that is held inside the atom, which is then released. You know what they say is in 1 kg of water, the amount of atomic energy that is stored is equivalent to 10 million gallons of gasoline. That's what scientists have, calculated. It's all invisible, so powerful. And also the most precious and important things that matter in life. What does it really matter? What matters to me in my life? At the end of the day, it's about just that feeling of belonging, of love, of respect with whoever I interact with. All of these feelings are also invisible. So power lies in the visible. This visible world is driven by the invisible energy. And so again, my being a master, my holding this pure intention is all about looking after this invisible energy, taking care of this invisible energy. Very genuine care, like a mother, like a father, like a friend, like a very loving energy that I nurture. This inner being, and this caring, loving energy is what this whole world needs right now. And the moment I'm able to just do it for my inner world, it also gets reflected in the outer world. Because again, my inner world is connected with the outer world. So in a word, we say the invisible. We say then in, what is in, within, is then visible. Within, I, a very precious, radiant being of light. In, that is in, is now visible to me. Means the experience of in is visible on the screen of my mind. And that's why we say mind your reality. Mind your reality. The reality that I'm holding on to. So it's not the reality that is I feel that there is a reality out there and I'm perceiving it, but no, I'm creating the reality. So mind your reality. Change the invisible and the visible will follow. Invisible, the seed, the roots, invisible. So how do I nurture a plant? I have to nurture the seed, the roots, and then the plant will be nurtured. In the same way, right? I have to nurture this invisible, pure energy. And then the external, the drama, the life, everything else gets nurtured. It grows beautifully. And then we say, the destiny, when we say the master of the destiny, then it's like we feel we are living a life of blessings. Like every morning we feel, oh, it's such a beautiful morning. It's a blessing. We feel everything is just working out for me, as if life is just about making me completely happy. Many times we say guest and host, right? So if I go to my friend's place as I'm going as a guest, and so if the guest is very good, then the host also treats the guest very well, right? In Hindi, we call it Atithi Devo Bhava, means a guest is treated very, very nicely. And so we spiritual beings are also guests in this world. And this life is the most So the more we stay within the limits of being a guest and not trying to kind of put the label mine, things that do not belong to us, then the host treats us in a very loving and respectful way. And then it's like my life feels like, I'm being loved. I'm loved. My life. As if life is trying its best to make me comfortable at every moment, in every situation, through every person. So in science, they call this term observer effect. Many of us may have heard about it or read about it. What they say is there is no absolute out there unless there is mind in here that perceives it. And so the observer effect says that there is no reality until that reality is perceived. So the only real in this world, they say, is the observer. This everything is for the observer. Without the observer, nothing actually is important. Nothing really matters. This profound insight tells us that we alter every object. Means we alter the physical energy simply by paying attention to it. Paying attention to it. What is out there depends on what we choose to look for. It's like being a master of destiny. It's like I just choose to look for the good, the pure, the positive, the real in everything and everyone. This is like the observer effect. And how there is such a alignment between what is in here and what is out there. And so in quantum physics, scientists had done, and many of us may have read about it, it's called the double slit experiment. And this actually changed the entire way physics was perceived. And this led to a lot of research in quantum physics and electromagnetic waves and how this whole dimension works. And it says reality changes when observed. So in this double slit experiment, what happens is, so this is a screen with two slits, right? And then there is a machine that kind of bombards the screen with electrons. So when an electron is passed through the two slits, it acts as a wave and produces an interference pattern similar to light. So it acts like a wave when it is not observed. But when a detector is placed at one of the slits, this is a detector or an observer, and the electron is observed, it behaves like a particle now. And so there's no interference pattern. So particle just goes straight and creates a straight line. A wave like interferes and creates a diffusion kind of pattern. An interference pattern is not produced as if the electron knows it is being observed. The electron knows it is being observed. How this is changing the reality. And that's why this is the double nature of light, as a particle and as a wave. That's how it, after this experiment, it came out like that. And so this again taking down to that root of the importance of observing. So the observer. And maybe a lot of us may have heard about Dr. Emoto, the scientist, a Japanese scientist who did a lot of experiments on the effect of thoughts on water, right? And that's what he also found, that like the thought or the intent is the driving force behind the crystal structure of water. So when we create thoughts such as love, peace, gratitude, then this structure of water becomes very beautifully arranged, organized. But if I create thoughts such as I hate you, thoughts of anger or like that, it takes up a very, very ugly looking form. And so it is, again, the effect of thoughts. And this is a direct effect of thoughts on, on water molecules. And if you look at our body, so much of it is made up of water, right? So our thoughts are directly impacting. And that's why when we say destiny, body, mind, my time, everything in life actually ultimately boils down to is controlled, is nurtured by this invisible energy of pure intention. And so when we look at being an observer, how do I become an observer? In this moment, how do I become an observer? So we've until now seen that through science and through spirituality, this how intention is driving everything. And how do I now practice it? There are a few ways that have helped me to be more centered and aligned in my life. So one is this. So we say mental positioning of the observer. So on the left is, we say, slave consciousness, where my reality in this image is the reality of the jungle, And so everything I feel lost or confused, or my thoughts are all piled up, heavy. Right? Versus on the right, which is master, where I have come up and I'm just sitting quietly and observing, as if I've just gotten elevated now. So even right now, if we feel right, that this whole drama, this play of life that we're all actors in, so this perspective of just going up, right, and just sitting up there and just seeing it down, seeing it from there. A few months back, there was one practice that, or this awareness that I was practicing on. It's called living in the sky. So I would ask myself, Saurabh, are you living on the earth, or are you living in the sky? So if I'm living in the sky, then I'm seeing everything from there down below. So everything looks small. Even something is happening here, but if I just switch and I just look from there, it looks small. And so then I'm not emotionally entangled in it. And this practice helped me to really develop this muscle of just observing. The moment I feel I'm absorbing all the negativity or heaviness in any situation, I'll say, okay, go to the sky, live in the sky. So I'll just feel myself as if I'm above, right? Just seeing even the situation, right? Even this role from there. And then I feel I'm in control, because the truth is that this role is temporary. So everything visible is controlled by the invisible. Another way to look at the same thing is this mental positioning. Right? We say in slave consciousness, if there are any thoughts, we say fear, anxiety, worry, guilt, doubt. So in this slave consciousness, I feel like I'm just, getting soaked up in those thoughts. Right? But in the master consciousness, again, my frame of reference has changed. I'm free. I'm just enjoying my life. I'm just in the garden, living a life of blessings, right? The drama has become my friend, and even if there are some thoughts that are appealing, I just see them and then they go. the moment I just detach from any thought of fear, I don't give attention to it, it just goes away. I remember, when I was um, writing my thesis, and a lot of times it was a tight schedule, and a lot of times this fear would come, will it happen, will it not? But the moment that thought would come, I would experiment with this. I'll just say, it will happen, it will happen. And then the question in the mind, how will it happen? I say, no, it will happen. I trust drama, something will happen, it will happen. And I was feeling from within that the moment I created this thought, all the fear went away. And in that moment, I got the power and the clarity to just focus on what I have to write right now. Because in one step, I can just focus on what I have to do now. I cannot focus on everything. But all these emotions of fear, doubt, worry, right? What it does is it doesn't allow me to focus on what I have to do now. So this positioning of the observer really allows me to just be myself, pay attention, focus to this moment. That's it. That's it, what is there in life at this moment. And then I enjoy this moment. Yeah, another way to look at the same thing is, right, in slave consciousness, I'm trying hard to swim across the turbulent tides, right? But in the positioning of an observer, now I am in a boat, safe, secure, right? And I'm being navigated, right? And I'm secure, I'm free. This feeling of security is very critical to my peace of mind. It's like all our efforts in life is ultimately to feel secure. And very interesting thing is, like, for example, if I have good friendship for someone, right? I really love them, admire them, respect them. But the moment I begin to feel insecure from them, I feel they can harm me, I feel they can take something away from me, then my love vanishes. Then, then in their presence, I won't feel that love. Why do we love children? Because we all feel secure in their presence. We all feel secure because we know they cannot harm us. That's why we love them. Everyone loves them, right? So this feeling of security that comes from the positioning of the observer, it really allows me to just hold on to these invisible thoughts, intentions. So one such practice is this. So let us imagine that, and this box kind of represents the entire life, my role and everything else that is there, whatever I can think of in this box. I've kind of practiced this and tried to explore this, and whenever I do this, I just feel this sense of inner security. So I thought I'd share this. So within this box, I see the story which belongs to this role and of everyone and everything else. And then there is this dimension. This dimension is the invisible dimension, means non-physical or metaphysical dimension. And then I just feel and I know that this existence, this name, this role, responsibilities, they all belong to this box here. This box here. And my real dimension is this, the invisible. This invisible energy is being held. And so I wake up in this dimension. This is who I really am. This being of consciousness, light, the invisible force that is holding this life, right? The powerful, invisible force that is holding. This is my dimension. because the consciousness really doesn't belong to the physical dimension. And this feeling that uh, I enter this, so to create moments where I literally feel, okay, Saurabh, let's go. Yeah, I'm entering here. I'm entering this stage. And then I know that even whilst playing the role, I know that this is my true identity. And I also know that one day I have to go back, I have to go back from, to where I came from, right? So then this feeling is that I am really a guest here for some time. And then when I have this feeling whilst playing my role, then I don't feel insecure for anything, because there's nothing anyways that belongs to me. I remember whilst coming to Peace Village, I have a long drive from Indiana. Right now I'm in Peace Village, I'm in New York, in Haines Falls, Albany, close to Albany. And, I stayed overnight in a hotel, and it was such a beautiful experience. And I was just recollecting, like, few hours that I stayed in the hotel, I used everything, every facility, the bed, everything, but I was not attached to any single thing. And when I was leaving, I was like, okay, good, let me get going with my journey. So it was zero attachment, zero insecurity, and I used everything. I was doing everything as if I would do in my home, right? This feeling, what it does is it just tells me that this drama, this plays extra for me, extra. Something which is extra, I don't feel insecure about it, right? So if I have a lot of something that I have a lot of it, if you ask me, Saurabh, can you give me one thing? I'll say, yes, please take it, because it's an extra. I don't use it anyway. I don't need it anyway. So something which is extra, I don't need it. And so I'm happy sharing it with others, right? I don't feel insecure about it. So I'm always in the feeling of security. So again, in this consciousness, practicing this consciousness of being a master, this feeling of security. The keywords, right, are master, destiny, reality, invisible, security. I'm secure. I'm secure. And in here, right, this is the dimension where there is clarity, there is timelessness, and there is security. There's nothing that can be taken from me in this dimension, this being of consciousness. And so then I live my life with full security. I'm secure, as if I have full insurance, full coverage, right? That's why we take insurance, right? Because then if anything happens, I'm free. Okay, I'm insured. Right? So I'm insured. My life is insured because I'm completely secure in this reality. And so when there is security, then automatically I experience peace, I experience happiness, I experience lightness, I experience love. I also experience concentration. So whatever I do with full focus. My mind is not diverted. So this understanding this model and just living this model gave me a lot of perspective and sense of ease, and just holding on to the sense of being a master. I thought I would share this with you. And let me end with just this slide over here. It says life of a master of destiny, the life, constant life. So the more I live in this consciousness, I feel I own nothing. I own nothing. Means there's nothing that I own. Just like in that hotel room, I didn't own the bed. I didn't own anything that was there, right? Although I was using everything, but I don't own it. I live in the now. So when I don't own anything, I live in the now, having won the inner battle. So own, now, one. Same letters, but own, I don't own anything. I live in the now. I have won my inner battle. And someone who has won the inner battle, right? They are called the master, right? They are victorious master. And so I become a master of my mind, right? Master of my life, master of my destiny. And then my mind is always filled with love, beauty, truth, peace, happiness. That's what I uh, hold on to in my mind, this energy. Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
Louise.
so much for your kind attention and patience. And
Well, thank you so much. And at this point, we usually ask the audience if they have any questions or comments to please put them in the chat box. I just want to say how beautifully you explain how you merge the two areas of your personal reality and the scientific world and the reality. And when you mentioned Dr. Emoto, I remember hearing about him years ago and how they took huge vats of water and simply wrote the word war or peace or love, and watching those molecules just go nuts or calm down. It was
that's right.
so powerful. I'm glad you mentioned him. So my question, because I don't see any yet, most of our audience may not be students, they may not be Brahmins, but they are very well educated as to what we do here. And at the same time, they lead lives with families, children, COVID-19, people getting sick. I understand from one of my Brahmin sisters who is a physician, how she was able, with great depth and everything you spoke about, transform her experience in a hospital when COVID was at its height, and be able to transport herself to that spiritual, I'm going to say, high place where now, at the end of it all, when it was at its height, she was ministering to those who were leaving their bodies and looking forward to being alone with them and easing their journey. Many people in our audience this evening have had struggles I don't have to define for you. This is a global pandemic. Would you have any tips as to how people who have not surrendered, people who may not be Brahmin, how they can do what you're saying in the midst of crises on the outside, where they don't feel they have the power to change reality and be master of the physical world?
Right. Thank you for this question. And I've been, since this pandemic began, and again, the power of the invisible, this virus that is invisible is so powerful, because in their power that lies in the invisible. And this feeling is that now, as humanity, it's time now to just, kind of reflect on how we can really make a difference globally right now. It's like to reset the priorities. So this whole time is for that, I feel, is to just reset my priorities in my life. I mean, this time has been, it's like it has allowed us to really value family. I know that because I'm in this country and my parents actually live in India, they used to visit me every year, but because of COVID, they haven't visited me last year and also this year. But I know that I have spoken to them almost every day. And even when they would be here, I would be so caught up in my things that I wouldn't have time to speak to them. And so I have seen that our bond has actually strengthened a lot. I know my nephew and niece, again back in India, I've spoken to them very, very often, and I have developed such a good relationship with them. It has allowed me to actually go into myself as well, to have time for myself. So in all of that ways, it's like this pandemic has put a reset button to our life. It's time to really value the little things. It's what I've felt. And one thing that I've noticed is now there is no need to plan a lot, but life has to be lived one day at a time. And I just need to add value to my life. Because life is all about the value that I add to each and every moment. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And if I live one day fully, and recently I experimented with this, I wake up and say, okay, this is the only day I have. This is the only day I'm gonna live. How will I live it? And suddenly this rush of this feeling of enthusiasm and this feeling of happiness, just talking to my friends and family, valuing them, talking to them with love, acknowledging them, you know just respecting them, it's so important. And then naturally so many other things that many times just little things that are not important, but sometimes they just cloud our minds, that they just go away. It's what I have felt. This time has been a blessing for me. Of course, we've had personal losses. Even I have lost a few of my friends, good friends. But then I just have this, feeling, and I just, have this thought in my meditation that they are still there, and I can talk to them still. They are in my thoughts, my vibrations, my prayers, and wherever they are right now in a new body, they're actually in a very happy family. And so I just emerge them in their new form, in that happy avatar. That's what I do. And I just see them as very happy, and they're enjoying their life. And they're still with me. I still can talk to them because the soul is always there.
And I love what you said about change the invisible and the visible will follow. And I'm thinking of the impact, if I'm hearing you correctly, that we have on other people when we don't respond the way they are behaving, paying attention to the tragedy, the obvious drama, things going wrong, sickness and death. And when we can hold our own stability in that moment, how contagious that is, because we do change with our invisible self, and we can change the atmosphere in a room,
Absolutely.
in our home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, very well. Thank you.
And also the feeling that as we talk about what's wrong, we're feeding it, we're digging a deeper hole. So all of these things are coming to light as you're speaking, the practical application. I think of all the times in my life when the ceiling seemed to fall in. I didn't get what I wanted. And how many times do we say on much lesser levels, not on physical disease levels, not on pandemic levels, we look back and we say, thank goodness I did not get what I wanted, because I wouldn't have what I do. So now we get back to the concept of destiny and how we can actually, we may not know where we're going and where we're going to end up, but we can do it with spirituality and divinity. And you have modeled that for us this evening very, very beautifului.
Thank you.
So I thank you for coming. Does anyone have a question or a comment before we ask Saurabh to lead us in a little guided meditative commentary? Anybody out there who has a question? I don't see anyone this evening. You've done such a beautiful, thorough job. It's really been lovely.
Thank you, Sister Lewis.
So would you like to, maybe for anytime you want, 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with, put the nice icing on the cake tonight for us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let us take this moment to experience ourselves in our reality. We realize that the invisible energy in our life is so valuable, so powerful. The invisible energy of love that binds us all together in harmony. The invisible feelings of respect towards each and every soul in this world, including me. The invisible energy of the divine, the supreme, the one who is the source of all goodness, all love in my life. The invisible energy that I am, a beautiful, tiny being of light, tiny star who belongs to the sky, far away from this earth. Let us all experience living in the sky as a star. I am secure, safe in the sky. I am a star who owns nothing, who lives in the now, who has won over the physical. I, the spiritual being, my reality and our reality as this beautiful family of stars is so lovely. We just are held in the silence and stillness. We are held in the love of God, the divine. Let us look at each other as a star right now. Every person in my life, or anyone who I may have lost in these times, let me merge them as a star in this dimension. I see them as a beautiful, radiant star that belongs to God. We're all eternal. We always were and always will be. Our true relationship is we're all spiritual friends through the journey of time. This is the reality. We know that We are guests, and this life, this place, the host, that is happening inside the box down below. Our life is complete up here, but only for entertainment. We just go, enter the box, play, interact, have moments of happiness, and then we leave and come back to the sky. We're completely secure here. There's nothing that can be taken away from us. In this reality, love, peace, happiness is all there is. Nothing else. We just hold on to this reality, and it creates a beautiful destiny for us, where every day is lived completely in perfection. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. And I'm sitting here watching your face. And even though you can't see the audience, we can all see the genuine spirituality oozing from every pore in your face and your heart coming right through your eyes. And on behalf of everybody, I'm sure, I want to thank you for a most beautiful, sincere, informative, empowering evening. The hour went so quickly. Power lies in the invisible is the lesson learned. And I love in your meditation, you said, I can win over the physical, no matter what is going on. And I know since I'm a student here, I've discovered that the winning may be 1 second. It may be 10 minutes. If you're a beginner at winning, it becomes reprogramming the brain to form a new pattern. And as a student of only maybe 5 or 6 years here, I can tell you that it works when I am keeping my mind on what's really important. So I want to thank you so much for coming to us this evening, and Saurabh, for gracing us with your beauty. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Louise, and truly appreciate. And you've been such a amazing person. I look forward to meeting you sometime soon in New York.
Yes, I was very jealous I couldn't be at Pace Village with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
One quick announcement. Oh, Eric?
No, go ahead, Louise.
I just want to announce very quickly, in continuing with our theme of spiritual awareness to feel empowered and protected, next week we will be talking about accepting, I think we just did, the drama of life. And our speaker will be BK Gokul from Cinnamon Center in New Jersey. And that's what's up for next week. Eric, thank you so much. You wanted to say a word?
Just to thank you to you, Louise, and a very, very great thank you, Saurabh, for joining us from Harmony House. You look great there, and hope to see you in person at Harmony House, and hope to see everybody sometime soon. We're still doing our Thursday nights on Zoom, but happy to have you here, and wonderful. Have a great night. Have a great week. Thanks again, Saurabh, Louise.
Thank you.
Everybody for coming.
Thank you, Brother Eric.
Om Shanti, everyone.
Thank you, Sister Louise. Thank you, family. Om Shanti.
Good night.
Good night.